So everyone is you'll be recorded, and that means your faces will be shown in your name. So hopefully that's okay. If not, you may want to remove your name and your video camera. But welcome. I'm just thrilled that you're all here today with as busy as the holidays are. So I want to welcome you here, whether you're here in person or welcome whether you're listening to this later on, listening to the recording. And a special welcome to those of you who are new to the Julian community. If you haven't already, I urge you to check out our website. It's called julianteachings.com. There's all kinds of good information there. It's really your go-to site for information on Julian teachings.
Mhm.
And Jan, I'm going to ask if you would mute everyone so while we proceed.
You will need to unmute yourself, just so you know.
Okay, thank you. So I recommend you go to the julianteachings.com website. It's a great resource. And Jan, maybe you could put that website address in the chat box. If you haven't already, I'm going to ask you to consider signing up for the Ring of Light quarterly newsletter. It's also called the ROL. Lots of great articles in there, lots of great information. And Jan has just included a calendar of events that's wonderful. So you'll know about the classes and goings on in the community. For today, you may want to have a glass of water at hand in order to hydrate yourself. There's time now to get one if you'd like. You may want to grab paper and pen should you want to jot down any of your thoughts. So let's just take a minute if people want to go grab that. For your questions and comments, I see Angela has enjoyed us and joined us and Carrie Joe, a lot of people. So welcome to everyone. Danielle, Beverly is coming in. So I'll ask for your questions and comments to please put them into the chat box, and Jan will relay them to me when we open this up to questions. For those of you who may be new to Zoom, you have the option of seeing everyone's tile, is what they call them. That's what's called the gallery view. Or if you only want to see the speaker, whoever is.
Did you get lost in sorry.
Pardon me? Pardon me? Okay. Or if you want to see the speaker view, you would go to there's some dots to the far right upper corner in your Zoom box, and you just choose gallery view or speaker view. Now, before we begin, there are many names we call the divine consciousness. We call the divine consciousness God or spirit or a whole myriad of names. In my Kabbalah studies, the name that is used most often is called the Holy One. And I've come to embrace that. So today, when I refer to the divine, when I refer to God, you'll see me referring to the Holy One. My goal, my intention for today is for you to it's to help you attune to these beautiful energies of this winter solstice. Now, the winter solstice happened last week. That was the initiation of it, but we've got it until March. So there's plenty of time to go ahead and work with these energies. So let's begin. Astrologically, this winter solstice, as they all are, really creates a powerful crossroads because this is a time where old cycles are ending and new cycles we're going to begin soon. So it's wise for us to take some time to reflect gently and honestly on our past. I mean, we want to courageously look at what worked and what hasn't worked. To review that before we go ahead deciding what we want to manifest in the next year. Akau acknowledged that, not just in this winter solstice message that he had, but in the fall equinox message. Those of you who are interested in Akau messages, go to my website, CamilleAlbrecht.com, and you can sign up for those. They come out quarterly. And Akau is a master teacher, I channel. Well, what Akao was saying is, rather than initiate new activities and new projects, just step back a little bit, just slow down a little bit. This is a time to let things percolate. Why? Because for many people, there were already a lot of changes that took place in 2025. And so it's important that we accept those changes and adjust to them as best we can before we take on these new commitments and activities. So some of you have already had endings and some new activities that began. Maybe you're in new relationships. You're maybe in a new work status, work environment. Maybe there's some new family dynamics. But my sense is, because of the way the energies are right now, you're probably finding that there's sort of this holding back going on with these new initiatives. And there's a reason for it. It's because this is a time to let things percolate, and it's not a time to forge ahead with these energies. The forging ahead is going to take place with the energies of the spring equinox. So until then, we're invited to gently turn inward for this quiet season of review. 2026, next week, is going to bring profound change. Many of you already know that all the major planets are changing signs. Well, Pluto has changed signs, but it's now firmly planted in the sign of Libra. I looked it up, and these changes haven't taken place with the three outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn, since like 1731. It was the precursor to the American Revolution, much less Pluto just having changed signs. So what does all that mean? These signal a whole new chapter, both in our collective lives and our personal lives. So the way that I think about this winter solstice is it's kind of like creating this outer framework of our new home, of the new home that you're building for your life. So in creating this outer framework, it's important to decide, what do we want to bring from the past? What do we want to let go of? What do we not want to bring in? And what overall energies do we want to add? So today we're going to begin with these broad strokes in doing that. And the way that I've organized this, I've got two Julian winter solstice meditations that we'll do. After the first one, I've got some questions that I've drafted and am going to give, a little bit of time for you to take a look and reflect on those. Then we're going to listen to the second meditation, open it up to your questions and comments, and we'll wrap up today with this incredible empowerment statement for the new year by Julian. Before we get started, any questions? Have we got any questions in the chat, or anybody want to put questions in the chat? Okay, then let's proceed. This first meditation is guided in my voice. And you'll hear I really take the time with it because I want you to truly feel Julian's words. And what Julian does, and again in my voice, he's going to begin with an acknowledgement of the fall equinox. And the fall equinox is a time of joyfully honoring the fall harvest. It's a time to celebrate the seeds that we planted coming to fruition, the seeds that we planted blossoming. Yet, some of the things that occurred in 2025, some of the things that blossomed, maybe we don't want to celebrate. Yet, it's important that we accept that they occurred. We've got to acknowledge they occurred. We've just got to sort of wrap our heads around them, right? And so I thought about this and I thought, so we're not necessarily in some cases celebrating what occurred, but we're celebrating that we survived it, right? We celebrated our success in managing it. Here we are, we're still standing, maybe shaking at the knees a little bit, but we're still standing. So there is much to celebrate. Always that celebration is followed by a need to just rest and reflect. So let's go ahead and get started with this first meditation. It's going to take about 10 minutes. You might want to take a little sip of water before going inside. And I will see you in about 10 minutes. A winter solstice meditation. Through this meditation, you can experience the stillness of the energy of the winter solstice. So please close your eyes, relax, and take several deep breaths, breathing in peace and harmony, and at your own rate, breathing out all tensions. Breathing in peace and harmony, and breathing out all doubts, all worries. Breathing in peace and harmony, and breathing out peace and harmony. And for a moment, I want you to feel extremely happy and exhilarated through the energy of the fall equinox, this harvest we have just come through. There is a celebration in your heart, the joy of the crops coming in. The idea of being at work, the seeds you've planted have blossomed, and there is a great feeling of happy exuberance that you feel in this space. In all celebration of harvesting, there is a sense of accomplishment and a sense of fatigue, but it's a healthy fatigue. The fatigue of a job well done, a crop brought in, and that wonderful sense of having succeeded. And so, the need for rest becomes the other side of celebration. It is not a rest from a non-healthy state. It is a rest from productivity and activity. Your activity that has brought manifestation about. And in this healthy state of fatigue after great accomplishment, let yourself slip into the silence deep within yourself. You're spiraling inward into yourself to a beautiful stillness within. Here there is order.
there is peace. In this stillness and peace, there is clarity. In this stillness and peace, there is acceptance. As you accept this peace and the divine order, and you rejoice in the clarity, you are able to see clearly that which has served you and that which has not. In this stillness, this silence, this clarity, you face the issues of yourself in peace. You can see that which you are willing to let go of. You can see clearly that which makes you happy and that which does not. In this peaceful stillness, there is no loneliness, but simply a separation from chaos and activity. And in that peaceful, silent state of clarity, you accept yourself. There is a warm peace in that acceptance and a love in that acceptance, and a bond of friendship is formed within you. You are free from judgment. But clear in discernment. And the choices you make will be fine ones. Let that peace envelop you. Truly accept friendship with yourself. And in the clearness and the joy and the peace, be one with the universe and the universe in you. And even as you accept the stillness, you sense ahead of you a warmth, a light that you will eventually reach, and which will permit you to burst forth once again in activity and new beginnings with the absolute clarity you see that the bursting forth will be in absolute balance with a new sense of oneness and a new sense of joy. So be it. And now, take a deep breath and let yourself return.
Welcome back. Any questions, comments?
The choice of precise words in describing the last year was perfect.
Thank you, Fran. Anyone else?
It was beautiful.
It's very peaceful, wasn't it, Carol?
It kind of brought to me a lot of the confusion and that, yes, it's right to let go and to be peaceful now and then to let things come forth
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in divine order, divine timing.
Mm-hmm. And we'll proceed from here. Anyone else?
Mary Ellen Lavemeyer says, can you talk about soul contracts and letting go?
Mary Ellen, unmute and tell me what you mean, please.
During the meditation, you talked about letting go. And, I have I feel like there's soul contracts with different people that I have a hard time letting go of them and moving on. But also, situations that come up and I have a hard time letting go of that. And it's a lot of emotional growth. It's a lot of opportunity for that, I know. But and I'm learning a lot very quickly. But if you could maybe talk about like anything dealing with soul contracts, because I know that we make them before we come in for the lifetime we're working on. And just wanted to have more information about that if you have anything.
What stands out is what Julian talked about in terms of releasing karmic commitments with another person. And I think when you're looking at soul contracts, that's what you're looking at, that there's some kind of karmic commitment that you need to work out. And what Julian said, that the method of doing that is to come to the absolute space of acceptance of the other person, of where you can be and let be. There's no judgment. You may use your discernment to not perhaps want to have lunch with this person, not want to spend a weekend with them, but the judgment factor needs to be gone. The acceptance at a soul level, there's peace and oneness. And I believe in that sense, then your contract is complete. Does that make sense?
Yes, and also, just to notice that, we are learning unconditional love and we're learning how, all the different ways that we love. And, sometimes it's not so peaceful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
When you first start, like you may disagree with someone or you may not understand them, but you have deep feelings for this person and you don't even know why. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. And and again, getting to the place of acceptance and non-judgment is where we want to go. And also, we call on divine assistance, which is where I'm going to lead us next. So let's proceed and go through this next process and then open it up to questions again. Does that sound good? So we've just come from this meditation, and I loved the way that Julian worded this in saying, we've got this peace and non-judgmentalness, but great clarity. So it's through this space of peace and clarity that I invite you to reflect on some questions that I've drafted. But before we do, I wanted to share with you this most profound experience that I had in a meditation. And it was in a meditation where I did something different. I decided to view Camille from the position of my high self, where ordinarily in my meditations, I, Camille, go up to my high self and become one with her, or, you go inside, right? But this time I thought, no, I want to see and experience from the eyes of my high self. What does my high self think when my high self gazes upon Camille? So I did that. I went there and I enveloped her, became her, looking at Camille. And it was a remarkable experience. I was awestruck, and I mean awestruck, by how much compassion my high self has for me. It was an incredible realization. It was life altering. And I believe that's true for all of us. Our high self knows that life here is not easy, that we've got these trials and we've got these temptations and we've got these sadnesses and sorrows and griefs. I mean, there's wonderful experiences too. But this is not always easy. And along with these challenges and wonderful experiences, there's a profound compassion there for us. And so as you move through these questions that I've drafted, I'm going to ask that you permit yourself to be a loving observer rather than a judge. That this is a gentle yet very honest inventory of the year, with a willingness to clearly see what should be released, what should be nourished, what you want to begin to manifest. And what we'll do is take about 5 minutes or so for reflection. Now, you may want to return to these questions and give them more time later on. This list will be available in the resource section of the Julian Teachings websites. Just go to the website, up at the top, scroll the resources, you'll see pop-up resources, and then this specific resource, 2025 Winter Solstice pop-up. So Jan has shared this with you, and take a minute to look through these, all right? And again, it's not a time for self-criticism, but for self-compassion, so that you become this wise observer taking an honest yet courageous inventory of the year. Now, I'm questioning. Can you see all of the questions? Can someone unmute and tell me?
No,
You can see 1 through 4?
I'm
I
trying
can
to,
see 1 through 5.
where are they? I'm sorry.
Okay. There's 5 questions. Can they be seen now?
Yes,
I'm looking. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes, there's
I
five
see five
questions. You can
questions.
see.
All right. So just,
Oh, yes, I can see it now. Thank you.
all right. So let's take about 5 minutes and choose the questions that you want, spend time on those you want. This is just something to get those juices going for self-reflection. So I'll let you know when we've got about a minute left to go. Okay, we've got about 1 more minute. Okay, and Jan, if you could stop the share. So, how was that experience for you? Just, unmute yourself and share anything, comments or observations you have.
I think that the it was almost overwhelming. In other words, those 5 questions are so extensive that I feel like I have to go through that probably once a day for maybe the next 2 weeks.
I think you're right, Connie. And if you think about it, that the what the winter solstice is about, the winter solstice goes from December 21st to March 21st. So it's not a 1 day kind of a thing. You're right. We're to be reflecting on this over the next few months. These are big, you're right, these are big questions. And when we're looking at the power we have to manifest our future, we really need to look at where we've been, what we want. And so it's not just this rote carrying things forward just because. I think you brought up a very good point.
Yeah, I want to comment.
Fran?
I would like to comment whenever.
Yeah, whoever. I've already talked once.
Well, no, Fran, please go ahead.
Um, I'm in one of Andrea's groups, the Tipping Point, and I spoke of having a case of transformationitis. It's not the first time. I'm sure it won't be the last. But it was a very good meeting, and I took these questions. And while I may have more answers, I certainly had a lot immediately, as in deja vu. And for those astrologers, it's fair to tell you Pluto's sitting on my ascendant as I speak. But the thing that stays with me is the end of my answers. And it is the affirmation from Julian from the first transformation in my 20s. So I'd like to read it if I may.
Sure.
God is my source of all supply. He answers my every need. I awaken to a changing time and assist in the movement of it. All that I do is for the good of all concerned. All that I do fulfills me. I lived it for so long way back then.
I think that's beautiful. And I wonder if you could put that in the chat so that we can have that on the website. Now, rather than take any more comments, I see our time.
Yeah.
We've only got about 15 minutes. So I want to take us through the second meditation because we've got that and the empowerment statement to go. So we'll see if we've got time for other comments in just a few minutes. But thank you, Fran. We had this time of release, and what I'm going to ask that we do before the second meditation is just take a moment to close our eyes and ask the Holy One to bless this year. Just everything that it gave you, the difficult, the wonderful. We ask you to bless us and bless this year, for each experience has been part of our growth. We thank you. And now we're going to move to the second meditation. This is in Julian's voice. And here, Julian is going to lead us through an exercise to enhance our connection with each of the elements. Because it's from the elements that all creation comes. And so when our enhancement has been made with the elements, we become even more powerful creators. So this second meditation is going to increase our power of manifestation. So let's begin. This is another one that's 10 minutes long. So again, if you want to grab a sip of water and get comfortable, we'll proceed.
So what we're going to do right now, I'd like you to wet yourself if you have water. All right. You're welcome. Now, you're going to simply sit quietly for a moment and let yourself breathe in deeply and relax for a moment. God, it's good to just relax for a moment, isn't it? You know, let it out. Forget everything else and just be. And I want you to picture in the very center of your being a small point of light. And this is the light of divine force that is indwelling in you and cannot be put out. It is always there. It is the vehicle that permits all else to happen in you. And now I want you to see that begin to spin. And as it spins, it creates a vortex. And that vortex spins to the rhythm of the universe. And so the spinning light in you is the call to the universe. And the very first thing that happens is the recognition of divine force amplifying in yourself. The divine force that is the vehicle to all other forces entering. And as you recognize this and accept it, I want you to feel that energy, that light, very deeply down into the legs and to the very soles of your feet. And through the very soles of your feet, this energy calls forth the element of earth. And you are rooted in the element of earth, that which solidifies manifestation. Power of the universe, spirit of earth, enter in. And through the power of the universe, the force of spirit of earth is yours to work with. And this energy moves now to the very center of your being and wraps the solar plexus. And as that energy and warmth, that light is felt, you call the spirit of fire, that which is the living spirit of you, the element of fire. And so the spirit of fire is entering in enhancing the spirit of you, opening you. And the spirit of fire is your strength and courage. It is that which sustains you. It is that which lights the way. And now, filled with the power and the force of the earth and the fire of spirit, let your energy move upward into the brow. And here, that power opens the mind. Your mind is being stretched. It is being permitted to move, and new cells within the mind are beginning to come to life. For the power and force of the spirit of you, the spirit of fire, shows the way. And so the mind is enhanced.
Thank you.
The ability to comprehend is enhanced. And the ability to memory is enhanced. And the eyes are opened that they may see. And the ears are awakened that they may hear. And the mind and the hearing and the vision are empowered by spirit and enhanced. And this divine energy moves to the heart and opens your heart to the power and force of love. The ability to love yourself just the way you are. And the ability to reach out in love to others. And the power of love is governed by the element of air, by the power of the universe and the force of air. The spirit of air is brought within, that which lightens you and gives you space in which to manifest. Empowered by the universe and by the spirit in you, you have opened the mind, the eyes, the ears, the heart, and the rooting to the earth. Power of the universe working within, force of the elements shaping and molding, power of manifestation increased tenfold. Let yourself feel this light, this spinning light, and know that it has empowered you, has opened you to the elements from which all creation comes. That each of these elements are divine force, and that you are divine force. And as one, you become the power of divine force. Take a moment to let the love factor fill your body, accepting you, loving you, and healing you through that love. Where the power of love is, fear dissolves. No thing can affect the joy of love. Know that the power within you remains with you. So be it. And now, take a deep breath and let yourself come back.
Welcome back. Now we just have a few minutes to close, so I'm going to ask that we hold in questions so that we can wrap up for those that have to leave. But with our power to manifest increased, just close your eyes again for just one moment. And let's each of us open our hearts to the new year. And in very broad strokes, call forth success, health, and deep well-being for ourselves and others. We ask the Holy One to bless us and bless our manifestations. For this most profound year of change, that we may successfully navigate that which we must navigate and call forth that which can help us to be our very best selves. We thank you that this is so. Now I ask you to open your eyes. We have a wonderfully large group of light workers here today. I think there's 50 of us. And what I'm going to ask you to do now is visualize us sitting in a circle, holding hands. And yet, for those who listen to the recording, and maybe you'll listen to the recording again, for any listening to the recording in the future, welcome them to hold their hands with us. So in this space, we'll listen to Julian's empowerment statement for the new year.
Now, right now, I would like you to join hands. Light of all lights, power of all powers, let us feel your presence in our hearts. Let our hearts expand and learn to trust. Light of all lights, power of all powers, let us feel your presence in our minds, that we may bring clarity, that our thoughts may broaden, that our curiosity never cease. For in the empowerment of the mind is the empowerment of the world. Light of all lights, power of all powers, let us feel your presence in our hands, as your divine energy flows through us, to us, that we may know the power of reaching out, of touching, of holding. For the hands are the instruments of the doing. Light of all lights, power of all powers, let us feel your balance throughout our system. Let our eyes be open and our ear be keen. Let us speak with clarity and kindness. Let us feel in our hearts the joy of living. Let us feel in the center of our being the balance of that being. Let us open our creative forces and bring them into absolute physical form. For in the knowing and the doing, we will manifest life in every form. And so it is that we are empowered of this through the bounty of divine energy. We open our minds and our hearts. We open our hands and we accept the balance. So be it. So be it. And now, my friends, you are empowered. You're ready to do battle in the new year. All right? But rather than doing battle, let us do joy. All right?
Welcome back. It's beautiful, isn't it? It really was. It's just one of my favorites. It just brings tears to my eyes. Happy winter solstice. Happy holidays to you all. I'm going to stay on for about another 10 minutes for any questions or comments you have, but I know some of you do need to leave. So, God bless you all. Thank you so much for taking time today.
Thank you, Camille.
God bless. Thank you,
Thanks,
Camille.
everyone.
Thank you, Camille.
Thank you, Camille.
Thank you, Camille.
Thank you. Adele, do you have a question? You have to unmute, dear. I can unmute you. Let me see if I can unmute you. I think I can, Adele. Where'd you go? Do you see my ask to unmute? No.
Adele, as you're looking at Camille, touch the screen and a pop-up will come up where you'll see mute on the lower left-hand side and you click on it to unmute yourself.
Alternatively, you can just hold the space bar down and that should unmute you. And then when you release it, it mutes you again.
Can you speak that
Wonderful.
up, please?
Even better.
Can you speak that up, please?
Yeah, when you hold the space bar, that unmutes temporarily. And then when you release it, it mutes you again.
So Adele, can you do that? Can you just put your hand on the space bar and while you have it on the space bar, you'll be unmuted? Yes, there you were. You had it for a second. Well, let me take if there's any other questions or comments while Adele is doing that. Anyone else?
It's just, Adele, you actually have to hold it down when you talk.
I have a comment.
Okay, Mary Ellen?
Sure. And I just wanted to share something that I'm working on personally, and I'm trying to understand oneness more in this year, or I've been working on that. And I've always like to think that I'm a really, I'm a good person, you know, and but I noticed that I'm really not in oneness yet. That's for sure. And this year was a really big eye opener for me because I noticed how I judged people that were opposite in the political beliefs a lot. And I think, I'm learning to have compassion for even my enemies, right? And seeing it from a different perspective, how to love from that space. Unconditional love, and compassion. So it's been a wonderful, eye-opening thing, and also to have more integrity about what I think. Like, I'm not just a good person. I have flaws. I have, a lot of things to work on, and so just wanted to share that.
I think you've brought up a very good point, Mary Ellen. I think this whole divisiveness in our country, and in fact in the world, about political differences is really fertile ground for us to learn acceptance as we move into the age of brotherhood and sisterhood. I think that and COVID was a great lesson for us.
Yeah.
Now I see our friend Adele is unmuted. Adele?
Yes, thank you. The problem that I have been having difficulty with is adjusting to the dramatic physical changes I've experienced and giving my self permission to let go. There are things that I'm just hanging on to no matter how many times I meditate. I guess I need to see through the high self. I haven't been able to do that.
Well, Adele, I think aging is not easy. When they say aging is not for the weak of heart, is it? It is not. And poor health isn't. And I think in many ways it's some of the most difficult challenges we face is that with our physical body because it's our foundation. And this idea of asking for divine support, we know it's there. We know your high self wants you to live the most fulfilled life you can possibly live, and to ask her assistance to help accept and also to manage the changes is the very best we can do.
It's the acceptance that's the problem.
My hat's off to you, my friend. You have been such an incredible role model for forging ahead, attending the classes, coming to the groups. I hear so many people that have heard your healing techniques. If you're dealing with this, if you're dealing with that, use this, use that. Through your physical challenges, the light worker that you are still dominates. I see that in you, Adele. So you're a role model for all of us. You really are.
I won't give it up, that's for sure.
Don't give it up. You're too important to us. We need your teachings.
Thank you.
Other comments, questions. Roberta, did you have something? I see you're unmuted.
Yeah, I think the thing that I learned this year was about honoring everybody else's path and not judging their path. This is dealing mostly with my children, that I honor their path that they've taken, and I've stopped judging it, and all I can do is stand there and be there for them. But as a mother, that is so difficult.
Boy,
and not to engage my daughter, Catherine, when she gets so angry and she just, and I refuse to respond. I'll listen to her. She can scream, she can holler, she can do anything, and then she can walk out my door, and that door is still open for her. But to see her going through so much pain when it's not necessary is very difficult.
I think what you're describing is one of the most difficult lessons for a parent, you know? If only they could see what you see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet, to me, the way that you're handling it is with the most spiritual maturity one can, because they say that the greatest gift we can give someone is acceptance. It's the greatest gift. And if she's open to your guidance, you're giving it. So, um, remarkable, Roberta. That's um, a huge step on the path, isn't it?
Mm. Yes, it was a big lesson to learn, and it's one that I think I have a lot more learning to
I
do.
was just going to say, if you're like me, it's incremental each of the way, and then something comes up to slam you, and you got to face it again. So, yes,
Yeah.
you're right. Thank you.
So, and
Good point.
thank you very much for doing this. Can
Mhm.
you send me a date to have a reading with you?
Yeah. Well, you'll
Okay.
email me. Okay.
Whenever,
Okay.
whenever you can.
Okay. Well, you email me, and then we'll.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Any other comments? Any other?
This is Carol. I would like to
Well,
know.
okay. And Carol, let me let Noel go first. He had his
Yes,
hand
ma'am.
up. Let Noel go. Yes.
Thanks so much, Camille, for putting this all together and sharing the meditations. The first meditation.
Can you speak up a little, Noel?
Let me fix that.
Okay. Appreciate it. But even to go closer to your microphone would help, I would think. No? Okay, that's okay. We can hear
No,
you.
that's not it.
All right, that's okay,
The
great.
problem is that for whatever reason, Zoom has decided to always put my volume down
Well,
automatically for some reason. Sorry about that.
we can hear you clearly now.
I just wanted to say thank you for putting all of this together and for sharing the meditations. And in the first meditation, the thing that was so powerful for me was the invitation to have a friendship with myself, because I can. There's no harsher judge of me than me, and having that invitation to reframe my relationship with myself as a friendship was really powerful. And thank you for that.
I'm glad you thought so. And Noel, I urge you, if you're moved to do so, to do a meditation as I did, where you view Noel from the position of your high self. You are going to be astounded. I was astounded. There's nothing but compassion and understanding. It was like you don't realize how hard life is until you see it from your high self. They're like, baby, I got you. It's just great. So I urge you to give that a try. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carol?
I just wanted to say my whole life has changed, since I lost my leg. Kind of in a stalemate with where I'm at, but I'm trying to learn to accept new things. How do you accept new ways without being afraid?
Well, you've been through a lot of challenges. Losing a leg isn't easy. My heavens, that is life altering. And so, you look at where are your interests now? What are you curious about now? And how do you bring that into your life? One of the things that is such a godsend are these phones and this access to anything you want online. Any kind of study, any kind of activity, and so I would urge you to look at What captures your interest? And what can you learn? What can you learn and what can you create? That's what my recommendation would be. You still have a lot of life to live, my friend.
You think so? I kind of given up on myself. I'm
I
trying
don't,
to get out of the rehab that hasn't been giving me any real treatment.
the very fact that Earth is still blessed by your presence says that you have more to do here. So ask your high self for guidance and explore because there's still more. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Hilda?
I wanted to find out if the whole session is going to be available, the video.
Yeah,
Yeah, both the video and the audio and the list of questions.
Oh, great. Because my audio went out like 5 minutes into the first thing. Now I re-signed on my phone. I was on my iPad and the whole time trying to get the volume to work and it was muted. So I'm glad I can still, see it.
All right. Jan, can you end the recording at this point?